One of the reasons the Israelite army refused to fight when they were faced with Goliath and all of his friends was that over time they allowed themselves to become discouraged. They allowed themselves to give up hope and think that there was no way the battle could be won. And who could blame them? That was a difficult situation. That was a huge obstacle. It was a terrifying man. And they dwelled on it and they focused on it. And the more they thought about how big Goliath was, the more they thought about how terrible war is, the more discouraged they got, and the more discouraged they got, the more hope they lost. And that is such a similar situation to so many of us today. When we look around at our world, we look at our state and our nation, we look at things in Ukraine, and it's just a crazy time to be alive. And it could be very easy to allow ourselves to be discouraged or even to lose hope, like there's nothing that could be done. There's no way things could change. How could possibly anything get better? And I understand that because there are some big obstacles ahead of us, and there's some big scary things out there in the world. But as Jesus followers, we are not allowed to get discouraged. We don't have that permission. We don't have permission to live a discouraged, hopeless life, because Jesus is the author of hope. He invented it, and he wants us to live with the idea that one day everything's going to be made right. It may be tomorrow or it may be 100 years from now, but everything will be made right. And so what we have to do in the meantime, while we're waiting for things to get right, we have to try to do our best to make things right. It's part of the process. But we also have to not get discouraged. We have to refuse to allow ourselves to get discouraged. And one of the ways you can do that, one of the ways you can refuse to be discouraged no matter what's going on around you, is to be very careful about what you allow in here and what you allow in here. You don't have to listen to all the bad stuff, and you don't have to look at all the bad stuff. You can choose to do differently. Paul was telling the Philippian church, Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, that we are to choose what we think about. And one of the ways we choose what we think about is being careful about what we allow into our brain, whether it's social media or the news or some publication or somebody's thoughts. Be careful about what you allow in there, because the more negative, depressing, discouraging things you allow into your brain, the more likely you're going to dwell on them, the more likely you're going to become discouraged and then eventually lose hope. And Paul's antidote was to tell us, fix your thoughts, choose your thoughts, and focus them on things that are true and lovely and admirable and excellent and praiseworthy and good and right. You get to choose what you think about. But what you think about is influenced by all the things you let into your brain. So be careful about what you let in. And then regardless of what gets in there, choose to think about the good. Look for the good. Look for the right. Look for the admirable. Look for the praiseworthy. Look for the excellent. You can start that today. You can start that the moment you get to work, the moment you interact with somebody today. You can just choose to look at and focus on what is right, good, true, praiseworthy, excellent, and all those things. That's how you fight the battle against discouragement. You do not have to be discouraged, no matter what's going on around you. In fact, as a Jesus follower, it's really not an option. You are to be a beacon of hope. So fix your thoughts today and be a hope dealer. See you later.